let's build an Igor. Starting with that, my name is JSB, this is my tech department. Los gates.
Oh, it's alive! It's alive! It's alive!
Now, it won't have escaped your attention that we are sponsored by PCBWay, but what makes PCBWay so special? Well, let's take a look. For example, the replacement ROM PCB for this Atari 800XL, well, I got it made by PCBWay. But PCBWay do, well, way more than PCBs. For example, when it comes time to remake this panel for a project that's coming up later this year, well, I'll be looking at PCBWay to do the milling. In fact, if you've got a project on the go, chances are PCBWay can help you out. From 3D printing to CNCing to full fabrication. PCBWay, way more than just PCBs. For more information, check out the link in the description below. Now, as usual, the tech department is full of little bits and pieces that could be greater than the sum of its parts. So today I thought I'd assemble some of those bits and pieces into something useful. Like a new computer. Well, when I say new, newish. To start with, I've got this old case which already has a motherboard in, but we're not going to use that one today. It's in need of a little TLC, but I have plans for that later in the year. For now though, let's get started and make an Igor. Now, I'll call them Igor because, well, they literally are parts machines. These are bits and pieces that have turned up, and I've got a great motherboard selection here that'll do great. But let's start with taking this one apart and seeing what we need to do with this. So, yeah. So this is, I forget who made this case. I know they're no longer in manufacture. It is a, what's it called, Midgard, something like that. I bought it in about 2013. The motherboard inside is actually from 2014, I think. This was an old work system. It has an Intel 4770K in here. I tested a lot of flight simulation stuff on this and basically ran it into the ground until it got replaced with a 770 setup, which actually now is my home server. So let's get this board out because this is far too new for what we want to do today. And to do that, let's get some screwdrivers. So to begin with, let's just disconnect a few things. We've got a very nice fan at the top here. This fan's going to come off there. As you can see, it's not exactly in there straight. I've used this for testing a lot. Take out the front panel. Another fan. USB. And audio. And then let's see how many screws are left holding this thing in. I've got one in the corner here. It's a bit bigger than that. Ooh, the fact that that's already wandered forward with just one screw out is slightly concerning. I have 2 screws left, I believe, one here. Support this a little bit. That's out, and let's grab this one. Oh, wait. There's one left somewhere. Wo bist du? Ah, there you are. Hiding down over there. There we go. There we are. One motherboard out. It's not really terrible, but I do know what I put this thing through, so I don't know if I trust it. This was overclocked for quite some time, so it may have had a hard life. But none of that matters because it's going in our reserve to be preserved for another day. And I've already found a problem. Look at this. The standoffs are stuck on the board. With the standoffs gone, we can put the case down. We don't need it for a minute. With the case out of the way, let's look at our motherboard for today. Now, This motherboard is from a friend of mine, Sarah. You might remember she gifted us a set of motherboard actually that was working. We built it into a little machine. Well, this is another one that she's found. Now I have to say, viewer discretion is advised here because this board is in need of just a tad, well, a little cleaning. So if you're easily disturbed by the sight of dirt, look away now. Yes, this board is incredibly dirty and it has its problems. Fortunately, we have more or less everything we need to get going. We've got the I/O shield, the cooler fan, might need a bit of a clean. Let's take the board out. It's, yeah. The good news is it comes with RAM and the CPU built in, so we have what appears to be 4 sticks of RAM here. Should be a CPU under there. Yeah. I think we're going to need to get this cleaned, don't you? Let's get some dust and put a mat down. Ew. Okay, so let's pop it on the silicone mat and let's have a little explore. So now, unfortunately, I've obviously been here and I've got some canned air. I think that's going to be needed on that. Now then, our CPU, what is that? Well, let's take a little closer look. Now, it may be difficult to read, but I can see it from here. And this is an AMD Phenom 2. So, yeah, an AMD Phenom 2. I know next to nothing about this, other than it needs cleaning. So, yeah, that's cool. There was one other board as well that came with the setup, but this Phenom 2 I think is going to make a very nice machine. Apart from that, this Asus board is in need of desperate cleaning. We've got, well, I think our 16 gig of DDR RAM. I'll just pop one out because I don't think this board can take more than 16. Yeah, I think this is a 4 gig stick, so 16 gig of RAM. So it's kind of maxed out. So this was a pretty good system when it was new. Yeah, let's see if we can actually get it cleaned up. Feel like we're going to need a time lapse on this one. Yeah. Okay, so we've reached the point where the board is in and I need to connect up a few things, but the most important thing to know is what graphics card are we using? Well, as it happens, I have the perfect card. This is an NVIDIA 680 GTX. It was the top of the line card. I remember getting this. It's, yeah, it's perfect for this machine. So let's get that installed right now. There. Come on, in you go. And you don't go. 9. What? But that's where... Am I in the wrong slot? Well, we may have hit the problem. Nope, we're good. Come on, in you go. There. For a minute there, I thought we were going to have problems. Anyway, it's in. Okay, so the motherboard is in, the video card is sorted. We've plugged in the chassis fans, although unfortunately there's only 2 sockets for the chassis fans and there are 3 fans in here, but it's okay. I think it's not going to really generate much heat, I'm sure. Of course, there is one thing you probably think I'm missing, and yeah, you're right, there's no power supply in here. Fortunately, I've been out today and I've picked up a brand new second-hand, emphasis on the second-hand, power supply for just 25 euros. It's a 650 watt, which should be plenty for this system. And yeah, we're going to install that now and then get the rest of the machine hooked up with this hard drive and see what's what. Come on. Okay, it's moment of truth. I haven't powered it on. I don't know if everything's working. So first thing, let's switch on the power supply and hope no magic smoke comes out. That's a good noise. Nothing exploded, right? Fingers crossed. Does Igor live? Yes. Okay. Drive, that's good, that works. CD drive's coming up. Come on, do we have a picture? Do we have a picture? Yes. Yeah, sure, we will run F1. Right, okay, so the time is currently not that, so. About that, that's fine. It is currently the 8th. And English is fine. Right, so we have discovered the CD DVD rewriter and the hard drive I threw in there to work. Okay. Yeah, target CPU frequency 3400. Jam. It's all running very quietly. I can't tell if that's a good thing or a bad thing. But it's alive. Exit and save changes. Okay. I don't think there's an operating system on this drive. I'm pretty sure we're going to have to put one on there, which is fine. But the fact that it's alive is great. Which is good for me because it means I can have a cup of tea. Oh, that is very posh. Look at that. Yes, okay. So, let's get it installed. So let's install operating system and have a cup of tea. Well, there we have it. Igor is alive and up and running with a fresh install of Windows 7 Professional 32-bit. This whole case is back together. These parts that were donated by Sarah, thank you Sarah so much. It's great to see these things back in working condition, even if they're not in pristine condition. However, I do have plans for both this case and this machine. To test it though, well, that involves this. Microsoft Flight Simulator X Deluxe Edition. That's right, next time we're going to be putting this machine through its paces like it's 2008 and maybe learn a little bit more about one of Microsoft's best and often most hated flight simulators. Until then, remember to reuse, rediscover, reconnect, because you never know. You might find your own bucket of bolts, a bucket of parts, and end up putting it together to make a really cool machine. My name is Jesby, this has been my tech department. Cheers!